Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to go over the EOP program and some of the differences between the EOP programs at different schools. On today's agenda, we're going to go over what the EOP program is and some of the benefits if you enroll, who can actually apply, how to apply at the different state schools. You'll notice that the CSU application has a little bit more on this. We'll talk more about why later. And then we'll end with some sources in case you want to go actually see the information that state schools provide. Okay. EOP stands for the Educational Opportunity Program. The goal really is to support low-income first-generation students or anyone who's been historically disadvantaged. In order to meet that mission, EOP programs often offer academic advising, tutoring, networking and social events, and sometimes even small grants. If you enroll, you'll often get access to specific counselors who only advise EOP students. And sometimes there's a summer bridge program where you can go meet other students in EOP and start building a support network before school actually starts. EOP programs often personalize supports, and so it's important for you to advocate for what you need. In order to qualify, you should have a history of low family income or be disadvantaged in some way. Each school handles EOP selection a little bit differently. So even if you feel like you only loosely qualify, if you do feel like you do need services, it doesn't hurt to apply. Worst that I can do is say no. In the CSUs, some schools could offer you EOP services while others don't. So say you apply to like 4 different CSUs, you might get offers for the EOP program at like 2 of them. Once you know where you can get services, it's worth considering as part of your decision when you decide which school to go to in the spring. Let's start with UW. At UW, students who are admitted get information about the EOP program during freshman orientation. So you have to get into the school first, show up, register in the spring, and then when you go to orientation, they'll share some more information. Because of that, I don't really have that much information for you right now. It is going to be important for you to pay attention during that orientation so that you can reach out to academic counseling services if you want to enroll. The nice thing is that if you do qualify and you get enrolled, UW does offer a lot of different services that you can see right here. So once you go to freshman orientation, pay attention to the information that they share. And if you do want any of these services and you feel like you qualify, please reach out to the academic counseling center. Okay, onto the UCs. Each UC has a slightly different program. And so if you go to the last slide on this slide deck, you'll be able to see what's available to you. On the application itself, you'll go into the scholarship and support programs, click support programs here, and then check the box for the educational opportunity program. Once you check that box, you'll see this where you can actually answer the question about why you're interested in EOP. You'll notice that you only have 240 characters. On the UC application, you'll go ahead and go into the scholarship and support programs, go into the support program section, and then check the box for EOP. In true UC fashion, they only give you 240 characters to explain why you're interested in EOP. 240 characters is only about 1 to 2 sentences. It's super, super short. And so in those 1 to 2 sentences, you really only want to focus on 3 things. Whether or not you're first generation, any financial struggles that your family has experienced. Here you can name some of the public assistance programs that you guys have enrolled in, and any educational barriers you have faced. Anything that you write will not affect your admissions decision. It's literally just something they use afterwards to match you up with services. And so don't be afraid to share some personal information here. But again, 240 characters, 1 to 2 sentences, you don't have a lot of space. So focus on these 3 things. This section is due along with your regular UC application, so don't forget to fill it out. The next 3 slides are for the CSU EOP application because there's an entire section on the CSU application for this. There's also a lot more guidance from CSUs on what to do here. Your regular application, you're just filling out your grades, your academic history, and your family information, and that's due at the end of November, early December. On your application, you can indicate that you'll come back and fill out the EOP application. And if that's what you're doing, you actually have until mid-January. But you do still need to submit the rest of your application by the regular deadline, and you can always come back. In the support information section of your CSU application, you're going to indicate that you want to apply to the EOP program. And the first part, you're going to fill out some quick information, which I'll show you. And then the second part, there is some more work that needs to be done. So on the EOP section of the CSU application, you'll either choose one of these two things. Yes, I will return later to come with these EOP questions. You'll select that if you're trying to get the rest of your application in. You just hit save and continue and come back later. Once you're ready, you're going to click yes. And then again, you'll answer some quick information. I'm just going to fill out some stuff here. And again, a lot of this you can fill out with your parents, since you'll probably want to verify the information with them. And then once you hit save, you'll get access to the other four sections. There's some stuff on their name and their financial status. Once you finish that with your family, you have the EOP autobiographical questions and then also EOP recommendations. So I'll go over those two things since those are the most important pieces of your EOP app. Recommenders are going to be asked to answer questions in this PDF. These questions are a little bit more about your background, and so we recommend you do need one teacher so they can talk about your academic potential. And then your second recommender can just be someone who knows you very well, as long as it's not a family member or a friend. This can be a coach, this could be a youth group leader. It can be really just anybody that knows you and your family well. We do recommend you support your recommenders with a brag sheet. So if you look at this brag sheet here, this is the same brag sheet that we have a template for you. And then I specifically put in a section on the CSU EOP. And so here are the four questions that we would say you should answer to support your recommenders and some suggestions on what they can talk about. And so again, this is even if someone knows you very well, there might be stuff happening at home that you haven't shared with them or they don't know about. And so just being open and honest with your recommenders so that they can talk more about these sections would be really, really helpful. So once you create your EOP recommendation request, you'll notice you'll just put in names, their email address, and then just a personal message. You do want to make sure you waive your rights, just like you do for the other things, so that the CSUs know that the information that's being provided is honest. Once you save that EOP recommendation request, it will send the request to whoever you're requesting it from. Once you do that, you can go back and actually fill out and work on your autobiographical questions. The CSU autobiographical questions is your chance to share your story. Here, you're allowed 2,500 characters for every single question. This is about 1.5 pages double spaced. It is a small essay essentially, and it's longer actually than the PIQs for UCs. The EOP office recommends writing at least 2 paragraphs minimum because EOP is so tailored personally to you that they want to know as much context as possible. The first and most important thing here is to be honest. Your responses are only seen by the EOP team, so nothing that you say will be held against you. And it's actually possible that getting selected by the EOP team means that you can get into a CSU even if your GPA is lower than most. And so the EOP team is operating on the assumption that if you're in, these are the things that you need to be successful. And if they're like, okay, we're going to accept you into EOP and your GPA just kind of misses the mark, they can actually go back to the CSU admissions team and say, like, based on the potential and based on what's been written in the EOP application, we still think this is a good candidate for our CSU and for acceptance. Because of that, and because they are advocating for you, you should be as honest as possible about your struggles and needs while also demonstrating that you are resilient. In your responses, you'll want to genuinely explain your financial and academic challenges. If you have faced any other unique challenges, the very last question is just going to be like, if you want us to know anything else, please tell us. And so you want to mention unique challenges on that last question. The second to last question is going to be asking you like why you are motivated. Historically, disadvantaged students are the most likely to drop out. It's one of the reasons the EOP was formed in the first place. And so the EOP team wants to know that you can be successful as long as you're given more resources, which is why showing resiliency and showing that you do use any opportunity that's given to you is going to be important here. In the essay planning document, which you can see here, there's a bunch of suggestions on what to talk about for each of the questions. This comes from LA Unified School District, and so they have a lot of resources for folks that are historically disadvantaged. If you have any questions at all about whether you should talk about something, talk to your mentor. You can feel free to email me. We're happy to help give you some suggestions about what can make a strong essay and what you should leave out if you should leave anything out. And that's it. In case you want to see guidance directly from the schools, there's links on this slide so you can check out the information that is publicly available. Always feel free to reach out to us, the CNS team, if you have any questions. Until next time, y'all.